All right, well, ready or not, let's do this thing. This is KC9VKV, and we've got on the line Richard Ke4GJG of London, Kentucky fame, repeater, and recently, Richard, Irma was featured on your repeater. Can you tell me about what that was all about?
Okay, the link I was using was just in receive mode only, but I could have went both ways also with them if they needed to make comments or something like that, but they wasn't taking any comments from non-affected area. They had their link going on, Echo Link actually is what they was transmitting on, and I have an All-Star node up there that's connected directly to the Arcom repeater controller on port 2, and basically what it is just a Raspberry Pi, and it's a URI interface, and URI just basically connects straight to port 2 on that RC210 repeater controller, and it goes across the internet, of course, over to Echo Link, and it repeats pretty much everything that was announced down there, and they had pretty good internet connection. Everything went pretty smoothly, actually, and it's pretty interesting to listen to with it. Ke4GJG.
Roger, Richard. I was just very happy to see that somebody was taking something like that to, keep the average. I guess it was directed at amateur radio operators, but they had their own special link to the proceedings as far as the hurricane coming in, and I thought it was really very advanced thinking, and of course I would think that Richard would come up with that where nobody else, there were no other repeaters that were actually doing that, so I thought it was really outstanding, Richard.
Oh yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting too there, and repeater activity was not very high right now, so I figured I'd put that on there so everybody has something to listen to. I know there's a couple other repeaters that was doing it, but not that much, so I just left mine on full time there during it.
National Weather Service observer reports hurricane. They had a hurricane force wind gust of 84 miles an hour or 73 knots from the northeast. Was measured by RSOIS. Anyway, located at the WFO on Key West. Bottom line is it came from the NWS office there. WX9VOR, looks like we have another tropical cyclone update that's already out, so we'll pick that up and read that to you. All right, attention all stations. A Hurricane Irma tropical cyclone update has been issued as of 4 o'clock a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This is from the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida. 0400 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time position update. Category 4 Irma bears down on Lower Keys is the headline. The National Ocean Service Station on Molasses Reef, Florida, recently recorded a sustained wind speed of 66 miles an hour, or 105 kilometers per hour, with a gust to 85 miles an hour, or 137 kilometers per hour. Key West International Airport just measured a sustained wind speed of 43 miles an hour, or 69 kilometers per hour, with a gust of 73 miles per hour, or 117 kilometers per hour. So the summary at 4 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, or 0800 UTC, reads as follows. Location is 23.9 north, 81.4 west, about 55 miles or 90 kilometers south-southeast of Key West, Florida. Maximum sustained winds, 130 miles per hour, or 210 kilometers per hour. Present movement is northwest, or 310 degrees, at 6 miles per hour or 9 kilometers per hour. Minimum central pressure is 928 millibars or 27.4 inches. That ends this update, WX9VR. A weather station on the south side of Fort Pierce had a 4-hour total of 10.53 inches of rain since midnight Eastern Daylight Time. Melbourne radar KDP values have been elevated in these bands, suggesting extremely high instantaneous rain rates. It is extremely possible that this training section will be maintained for another several hours, although Melbourne radar did show a slight northward drift beginning around 0800 Zulu. This could spread the heavy rainfall and threat of flash flooding a bit further up the east central Florida coast. Break for more. All right, continuing forward. High-res model guidance does suggest an additional area of focused heavy rainfall developing in northeast Florida near Jacksonville Metro between 0900 Zulu and 1500 Zulu, or UTC, near a stationary front and low-level theta E gradient. The fundamental setup is similar to that further down the coast. Focused low-level convergence maintained for at least a few hours and increasing upper-level divergence in the right entrance region of a developing jet streak over Georgia and South Carolina. This developing jet streak and intended region of ascent are evident in satellite imagery with a large curved band of cirrus with embedded, embedded transverse bands arcing from the northeast Gulf to the coastal Carolinas. Therefore, and this is the important part here, therefore there may be another focused area with potential for higher rain totals near Jacksonville in northeast Florida. Although heavy rain rates will be possible anywhere along the eastern Florida coastline in the tropical environment ahead of Hurricane Irma. If rain bands are persistent enough, hourly totals in excess of 3 inches per hour lead to flash flooding. So, like I said, just wanted to pass that along. We do have a threat for flooding in these areas. WX9VR.
This is W9DSR for the VOIP Hurricane Warning Net. We have an immediate flood warning bulletin from Melbourne, Florida. The National Weather Service in Melbourne, Florida has issued a flood warning for northern St. Lucie County and east central Florida, southeastern Indian River County in east central Florida until 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 5:04 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Doppler radar and automated rain gauges indicated that heavy rain has fallen over the northern St. Lucie County, is lifting into southern portions of Indian River County. Automated rain gauge reports indicate up to 9 to 11 inches of rain have fallen in the Fort Pierce area, and local law enforcement and public reports have indicated numerous impassable roads and water entering into houses. Light to moderate rainfall will continue for the Fort Pierce area through early this morning, which will continue to aggravate ongoing flooding issues. However, additional significant rises in rainfall are not expected. Greg? The flood warning continues. Some locations that will experience flooding include Fort Pierce, Vero Beach, and Vero Beach South. Turn around, don't drown when encountering flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur in vehicles. Be especially cautious at night when it is harder to recognize the dangers of flooding. This is W9DSR.
Looks like Irma's here in London now because we're getting some wind and some rain right now, so I'd say the bands are hitting up there in Indiana next, I guess. Are you getting any rain or weather off of it yet?
Oh yeah, and wouldn't it be that I just put up the bomber Actually, it's the Boomer Cushcraft 22-foot 19-element antenna. Oh Lord, what a mess! I mean, it's a hassle, boy. 22 feet. I've been running these 8-foot Yagis, and this is a 22-footer. But we got her up, and I'm just hoping that Irma leaves it alone. Roger.
Oh yeah, it's something to play with there. I wish that I know the London right now, the repeater's down to 25 watts right now, by the way, Jim. So if you're hearing it back, it's just 25 watts. It went from right at 100, a little over 100 actually, down to 25 watts. So that's the difference right now. And the receive is, like I said, is having problems and everything. So hopefully we'll put I'm going to put that folded 4-bay dipole up in place of that diamond that's up there. It was right on the top of the tower, so it's been whipping back and forth for over a year up there. And I'm thinking it must have stressed it, and it's got a break somewhere in it. So I'm going to pull the fiberglass antenna down and take a look at it, and put the big folded 4-bay up there, and that should fix all my problems.
Roger, Roger. Right now, incidentally, we're working the BEREA repeater, and I was trying to get a hold of Richard just to do the thing on the Hurricane, and congratulate him on being a very forward-thinking repeater operator, and thank him for the very entertaining transmissions regarding Irma. And let's see, what did you say your antenna was sideways on the tower?
It kind of looks like it's broken half up there, almost to the top. It looks like it's, took a hit or something. I don't know. Maybe somebody got mad and shot it with a gun or something. That's the only thing I can. We did have some pretty good strong winds the other day too, though. So I don't know. It's been up there for a long time, so it could be anything. It's untelling.
Oh, roger that. Yeah, we did have an antenna shoot-off between a Hustler G7 and a Comet GP9, and amazingly, there was some footage difference in the height of the two antennas. But all things considered, there were occasions when I was getting the same signal on the G7 as the GP9, and G7 was, I think, at about 37 feet, and the GP9 was at 77 feet. So, and the other fact was that the G7 is a much sturdier antenna, built out of actual aluminum and very thick PVC covering for the coil sections there, whereas the GP9, is just a long PVC thing, and that PVC is not that thick. And unfortunately, what happens sometimes is that under high wind conditions, that GP9 will almost bend horizontal.
Yeah, that's the downside of using them diamonds. They're so thin, and they whip around pretty violently there. Over the, they're okay for a repeater for a short period of time, but over time, if it's not supported or something like that, which I knew when I put it up, I read about it and stuff like that, but I didn't think it would, be that bad up there. But apparently we get a lot of wind up there on Raccoon, and so I'm gonna, if I ever put another one up that's that long, which I was gonna get that 24-footer. It's 24 feet long, the biggest one they make, that diamond. And if I put it up, I'm gonna definitely make sure it's supported, and in the middle or at the top or something there to keep it from whipping around. I do have the capability of doing that up there in one spot. I'm thinking about mounting that big long one, so it'll be on the probably on the west side of the tower, on that the big tower up there. So I might do that later on. But for now, I'm just going to stick that folded 4-bay up on the main tower there on the very tip top, and we'll try it out for a while. Well, hey Jim, good talking to you, and I'm destinated here, and I gotta get up early in the morning, so I better cut it short with you. And and hunker down up there and be ready for all the rain. It's heading that way. We're getting it down here in London right now. KE4GJG.
Roger, Richard. I'll let you go there. Appreciate the info on the your Irma VoIP Hurricane Network. Outstanding. Thank you, sir. You have a good night. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. We'll be clear.